Alrighty. And is it focusing on me? Maybe it's blurry because I didn't put my glasses on. Oh, keep the noise down on that, please.
Oh, sorry.
Make my little weblog. Alright. I'm going to talk about my thoughts on the Ken Ham Bill Nye debate. Sorry it took so long to get around to making that, my handful of followers. But I've been busy. I haven't rewatched it because YouTube has so many interesting videos to watch. My YouTube watch later list is almost full. My first thought on the debate, in a way I wasn't represented. At least wasn't fully represented by either side of the debate. Because the Hebrew word, well, let's start off by Ken Ham's group Answers in Genesis. They take time on their website from being a creation ministry and proving that the Bible's true, including chapter 1. They take time out from that to attack me and denounce me. Not me personally, but me, my religion. And the Hebrew word for create that's used in the Bible, in the Hebrew version, which is the original language, or the closest to the original language that we have, does not mean there was nothing and then poof, there's something. It means to organize matter. So, the way we Mormons look at it is that the universe existed before, well, that the materials used to create the earth existed, and God organized them. And there wasn't nothing, and then God, poof, made something where there was nothing. And so, because of that, if the stars are billions of years old, it doesn't prove wrong my understanding of the creation and my understanding of the first couple of chapters of Genesis. When it says that he made the heavens and the earth, maybe it's talking about the atmosphere around this earth and not every little one of those trillions or quadrillions of stars out there. And Ken Ham, maybe he's one of those people that ignores Genesis chapter 2. In Genesis chapter 2, you have the creation all over again, but with a different order. Which, in my mind, is not contradictory, because the book of Abraham and the Pearl of Great Price lets us know that God created things first spiritually and then physically. So I reconcile those two by saying that 6 days in Genesis 1, that was spiritual. Planning stages, in other words. Then chapter 2 is when God actually did it. And Bill Nye calls himself a science guy, but in that debate, he engaged in zero science. He got plenty of name-calling in, and he ignored everything Ken Ham said and never actually refuted any of the claims that Ken had made or any of the evidences that Ken Ham brought up, because Ken Ham did actually bring up some evidences. And Bill Nye proved himself wrong. He had the one comment about, how things are here because, no, the things that ate, things that are here, things that are here ate the things that aren't, or something like that. He was giving a quick summary of natural selection. Natural selection proves creation, because you can't select from something that's not there. Natural selection proves creation because God put the earth together, put the animals here, and then some of them have gone extinct. But we have zero evidence Zero people seeing and recording new things happening. And what I thought of how Ken Ham handled the debate, his end of it, he did a pretty good job of proving that there is a creator, that the earth couldn't have just happened. I don't think that we should say that the Bible story is proven by the fact that there's proof that there's a creator that put things together and they couldn't have come together naturally. And one reason for that is there's a New Testament verse that says, no man can say that Jesus is Lord except by the Spirit. We should limit how much we try to prove it and let the Spirit do the proving, because that's what's the way God wants it done, to have the Spirit prove what's happening, what's happened. And Ken Ham, one specific scientific fact that Ken Ham pointed out that refutes the rock method of dating the age of the Earth was the potassium, I think it was the potassium argon method that he was bringing up. We can test these, some rocks on the Earth, we know how old they are because there are recent volcanic explosions or eruptions. And so we know those rocks, we know when the volcano went off, the ones that recently happened, and we can test those rocks and test the theory, use those rocks to calibrate the measurements for other rocks. There have been rocks that we know are less than 100 years old, or we know are only a few hundred years old, that have been tested and proven in the testing to be hundreds of millions or billions of years old. Now, scientists were really trying to be scientists and find out the truth, which is what true science is. They would take that opportunity to calibrate their testing method and say, we know this is 20 years old, there was this much potassium argon, this much argon in the rock, and so these other rocks we were thinking are billions of years old, no, they're only a few thousand years old, and use that to calibrate it. But they didn't. And Bill Nye ignored that. If there was a winner in this debate, absolutely it was Ken Ham. Because Bill Nye refuted zero of Ken Ham's claims. Bill Nye engaged in zero science, saying, you're stupid bunch of hicks and idiots, you're stupid, smart is not science. And I'm more than willing to actually listen to some evidence and see some evidence for a billions of year old Earth, if there is any. But I've never seen it, because the only evidence that I've seen the Earth is billions of years old is you get fired from a job as a doctor or a museum curator if you don't follow the party line. You'll have people like Bill Nye call you stupid, you're stupid, and make fun of you, but not actually. And make fun of you by saying, you think Tyrannosaurus Rex and people walk together on the Earth? But they don't actually talk about any proof of those things. Those are my thoughts on the Ken Ham Bill Nye debate.